our system is being hijacked. Um, people wonder when they see my name, enslaved ones. What? How are you enslaved? I'm not enslaved like by chains. I'm not enslaved like that. But the whole point of that name I thought up 10, 12 years ago because we're enslaved by money. What's going on is our government is spending so much money, putting it all on the taxpayer, and causing inflation, and probably going to be hyperinflation. Inflation's a hidden tax on us. And rich people like inflation. And people wonder, why would a rich person like inflation? Well, imagine you buy a house for $100,000, right? You take a loan out for $100,000. Well, if inflation goes up, that value of that house still goes up, but the loan stays the same. So that house might be worth $150,000, but the loan's only worth $100,000. See what I mean? That's why, what is it called? Quantitative easing. You print out more money and it makes your debt worth less. Also, the actual money you have physically, like savings, worth less as well. But the rich people are the ones controlling our country and controlling our politicians. And that's why you see them doing what they do. That it benefits the rich people. Rich people don't have their millions or billions just sitting in a vault. They got it invested, and they got a lot of debt, and the debt's in loans. And I can't explain it well, but look it up how they get away with not paying taxes because of loans. It's like using collateral for the loan, and when it's like they don't have to pay taxes. That's how they avoid paying taxes. So the the Senate, Kamala Harris was they had a vote. It went 50-50, and Kamala Harris voted for the Democrat side to pass the bill on the Inflation Reduction Act bill, which is so funny that you print out more money to reduce inflation is total bullshit. See, what the Democrats do, and I made a video about this, is they just making fun of them, is it's my most popular video. It's like got over 400,000 views. They make up some nice name to a bill, then they put in all this other shit that has nothing to do with it, and then if people who actually read the bill and vote against it, they look like idiots. They look like assholes. They look like they don't care. In this bill, they're adding like okay, it hasn't went to Congress, but you know it's going to pass. Everything passes through Congress. The Senate's the one that holds everything up because it's the last stronghold of the Republicans besides the Senate. And then, Bill it's going to go through. It's going to go through. There's no way it's not going to go through. Because Biden's definitely going to sign anything you put in front of him. It's going to add like 87,000 new IRS agents. Expansion of the government. And I think that everybody should pay their fair share of taxes. You know, people who get away with not paying taxes, why I have to pay taxes, that's an issue. But I think that our money could be, that money could have been allocated to go to better things than trying to screw over the average American. Stop with the taxes. Like, our government needs to be reduced dramatically. It's too big, it's too powerful, it's corrupt, it's owned by the elites, the ones who the federal government is like an umbrella to the elites, to BlackRock. That's all it is. It's one of their little companies. It's like our federal government to BlackRock is Whole Foods to Amazon. That's what it is. And in this bill, like they did something where they're not going to really go after rich people. Of course. You know, I don't agree with everything what Trump says, okay? Like, I don't believe in the trickle-down effect, because he cut taxes for companies, and what they do, instead of like helping out their employees, they just bought back their own stocks, enriching themselves. When it should have been, you get a tax cut if you invest in your own people, not buying your stocks back. Something like that. If you want to buy your stocks back, you don't get a tax cut. And that's what it should be. Like, there shouldn't be fucking loopholes. It should say direct. Here's a tax cut. If you do something to try to enrich yourselves, CEOs making double-digit millions a year, and if they screw up, they get a golden parachute with, like, some of them make like 90 million. They can screw up the company, and then the company pays them 90 million to go to leave because the company is voiding the contract and buying them out. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And then you got the people at the bottom just like scraping by. So our taxes are going to be risen with high inflation. The gas prices are a joke. They went down, but it's not like they're going to stay down. And food prices are absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Our oil reserves are being depleted. Everything is being purged. And most people just don't understand, or they don't care. They don't understand that their value is being siphoned. Their rights are being siphoned. And I understand, man. I don't understand economics 100%. I have somewhat of a okay understanding. I understand that what we're doing right now is not sustainable. I understand what we're doing right now is putting regular people like me into slavery. You know, people complain about, I complain all the time on here about how unjust the system is, how it doesn't feel like we have any incentive to do anything. The wages aren't fair. Like I said, rich people love inflation because they can raise the prices and they pay their employees the same wage. Because what do they use? Here's what they use. Oh, inflation's gonna go down, so we don't want to give our employees a raise. That's their excuse, and then they wait a year to give them a damn raise. When an average worker like myself has to scrape by, some people have to work 2 jobs just to live. You know, yeah, the lockdowns really affected people. People wonder why rents went up so much. A couple of reasons why rent has went up a ton. Because there's less people renting out now because they got screwed over by the government. Imagine having to pay for somebody's not paying rent for a year and a half. And you have to foot the bill. You still have to put maintenance on that house that you own, that you're renting out to somebody, or the apartments. You still have to pay property taxes, and you still have to pay the loan on it. And meanwhile, somebody's just living there for free. Not only are they living there for free, but they're also getting probably more money than they got working. The government paid people to stay home. So what happened during the lockdowns is it conditioned people for socialism. That's part of the reason why people don't want to work. I worked through the whole thing, and the reason why I don't want to work because it just kind of seems pointless. Like, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm actually going backwards. That's why I get frustrated. How can I be motivated? It's hard to be motivated to want to work when you're not going anywhere. You're actually going in the reverse. So there's just no incentive. You're just on a treadmill without a damn carrot. Yeah, but this is to put people into slavery. That's all this is to put people into slavery. You know, people are all concerned about humanity going forward. We've made a lot of innovations throughout the years. But using people for slaves is something that it's not the same as physically forced slavery, what's happening nowadays. It's more of like a mental type of deal. And it's kind of it's there's whips that are involved because it's like you either do this or you're going to be homeless. You're going to lose everything. So you better do what we tell you to do. Who gives a fuck about humanity going forward? I don't give a shit if humans are alive in 500 fucking years. I care about the children. I care about their future. But I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about if humans are alive in 500 years, 1,000 years. Like, people aren't going to give a fuck about when you were alive. Imagine 100 years ago, thinking about people being alive. Like, you don't give any thought. You don't really care. Most people don't even appreciate the infrastructure and the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making this country, making the infrastructure. What it seems like now is people are just, especially the Democrats and the sellout, because they're all sellouts except for a couple. MAGA is the only, they call it a cult. Well, the other one's a cult. when you're for America first, you're not sold out. Some of them could sell out. It's potentially. Listen, I know that whoever has total in charge, there's no balance. Who's ever fully in charge, whether it's the left or the right, there's authoritarianism. And that's why we need some kind of a balance. But there's no balance. And that's what the Republicans are they're making a mistake because they're doing what the Democrats have done when they go too far right, too extreme right. They're trying to play their game, and then people backlash and they go for the Democrats. They're kind of playing in the Democrats' hand. The Democrats, it's a hard thing. It's 4D chess. What's happening right now? I listened to Trump's speech, and that's what I've been saying. I haven't really been listening to him that much, but I listened to his speech on a Saturday, and what he said about the homeless, what we should do about homeless people, is what I was thinking is they need to be taken out of the cities. They need to be put in tent city camps outside the city somewhere. And then my thing is they need to be bused somewhere far away, so if they do try to escape, they don't just go right back to where they were, because some of these people have mental illnesses that need to be taken care of. And he said that there needs to be doctors and medical, all that needs to be, yes. And what he was saying is like the tents need to happen first, then the buildings. But we have to solve this problem now. We can't just have all these tents in our cities. We can't do that. And if you notice, like every single Democrat ran city is just a hellhole. That's all it is. It's just a cancer. Rampant crime, rampant drugs, rampant homelessness. Some cities are worse than others because they're nicer climates. It's not like these people. They just don't need to be. They need to be reformed, and then because a lot of people have mental illnesses, they need to be reformed and put back in society. There needs to be jobs. There needs to be less welfare. Welfare should not be a thing that is just all the time, forever. It should be something that is, if you fall on hard times, you're taken care of for a little bit of time, but it's not, you shouldn't be incentivized to kick your man out, and the government's now your provider. The Social Security is a scam too. The whole thing's a fucking scam, dude. So, the corporations, they don't care because they're not held responsible. Everything is put back on the American citizen with heavy debt, national debt. Everything is put back on them. Even if you look at 2008, when these banks got bailed out, if you're a company and you're too big to fail, that's a problem. You need to be broken up. These banks got bailed. They can do whatever they want. They can they can put us in a severe recession, and then they get bailed out by us. Think about that. There's welfare on both sides, whether it's rich or poor. There's welfare on both sides. Man, these fucking Democrats are the biggest sellouts. I hate these people, man. And I get so frustrated watching people on TikTok who advocate for these people. It's ridiculous. They're so indoctrinated. We can't maintain this system, man. We can't. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? If you buy a house, they can raise property taxes so you can't even afford it every year. Then what? Then with these fucking taxes? I swear to God, the average person can't afford to find loopholes like these rich people can. There shouldn't be loopholes anyway. Another thing with these fucking bills that go through, these huge bills, they're so fucking lazy. They write up these 2,000 page bills, and most of it has nothing to do with the title. And most people don't even read it. They can't even read it because they don't give them any time to read it. They do this intentionally. And it goes through, or some of them go through. If whatever's in the bill has nothing to do with the title, it shouldn't go through. They should be separate bills. Marjorie Taylor Greene was on Tim Pool. I have to go in to this slavery, but she said that most of the bills are voted on by like 10 people. Most of these people in Congress are out doing whatever they're doing. They're not even working. And she had to call everybody down to vote on the bills. I don't know, I forgot what it was called. And they got pissed. People in her own party got pissed at her for this. These people are so fucking lazy and entitled. And almost every single one of them needs to be replaced. I like Tulsi Gabbard. Most of the things she stands for, I like what she says. Fuck, I gotta get in there.